What's good, lads? Welcome back. Today we're going to be going over heavy weapons. Now, with heavy weapon category, we're going to start off with a Wingman. And with the Wingman, I'd like to point out a few things. The Wingman has pinpoint accuracy, and I'm pretty sure most of you that have picked it up before will know this, but if you didn't, it has near pinpoint accuracy. While using the reticle, you will constantly hit your targets if the dot is on them. Now, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. You can either completely miss shots, or you can absolutely destroy them. Now, the Wingman is a particularly difficult weapon to get used to, but it does come with a lot of perks, and using these perks to your advantage during a match could make you an absolute beast with this weapon. I've seen pro players that have been using this weapon during tournaments and other events that they go to, and honestly, to see shots and trick shots with the Wingman is just a different kind of satisfying. Now, the Wingman, although it is extremely ammo efficient, it's rather difficult to find a good way to use it. It is an extremely versatile weapon, I can tell you that much, because it can be used at close range with just hip fire. I mean, you know, if you don't suck like me, but close range hip fire would be really easy with the Wingman, especially in an actual game if you get it right. Medium range, as you can see here, it's not that bad. It's just I can't aim. Now, this is without any attachments. You start off with 5 ammo. You get the extended heavy mag, which brings it up to I think 8. Yeah, and then that's when you really start seeing this weapon shine. Usability wise, during an actual match, this lets you use tactics such as jiggle peeking, so aiming around a corner, hitting once and then going back for cover. This leaves you less exposed to returning fire, and one shot with the Wingman without them trading fire on you could be the result of you gaining the advantage during an interaction with other players or enemy teams. Now, it can take the digital threat as well, which makes it very useful during like Bangalore smoke, like I mentioned in the last video. Link to that in the cards at the top right, I think it is, or description. I'll make sure I put it somewhere. Putting it through Bangalore smoke makes it extremely easy damage to get off. Mainly because people that are in Bangalore smoke won't really know exactly where you are and probably be running in a specific direction in a straight line to try and get out of it to see you, or they'll be trying to stand still waiting for you, and that's when you can usually get the shots off. But like I said, digital threat, really hard to find, but if you do, definitely worth it putting on the Wingman in my opinion. Now, for practicing use of the Wingman, I'd suggest doing this. Going up to the practicing range, standing around about here, wherever, and looking about 45 degrees away from your target, and then flicking to them to try and hit them. And if you can get this consistently with a full mag, then I'd say you're ready. I'm definitely not, but there we go. If you can get this done consistently, you're definitely going to be good with the Wingman in game. Try it from the right hand side, from the left hand side, and then maybe from a 180 degree point of view. Using the Wingman stops you from having a solid DPS potential. Your DPS is going to be really low, but your damage per hit is going to be really high. And what this means is that you don't need to focus on pumping out damage as fast as possible. What you need to focus on is hitting your shots. And with the Wingman, as much as you'd want to just spam fire it constantly because it's easy to do in the range, in an actual match, don't do that. Unless you know exactly where the bullets are gonna go, if you've gotten that good at the game, don't just constantly rapid fire this weapon. You generally want to wait for it to come back and then try again later, like as soon as you know where the enemy is, where they're gonna go, predict their movements. This is genuinely the speed I'd suggest like practicing with. and then over time you can get a little bit better with it and probably tweak it to your advantage. Like I said, it is a difficult weapon to get used to, but once you get the hang of it, you definitely will be able to pull off some crazy plays with it. One more thing. With this weapon, you do have the strafing speed of a pistol, so it's the fastest strafing speed in the game. While using this weapon, you generally want to be continuously strafing. And that way it'll make it a lot harder for people to hit you without predicting your movements. Obviously, you don't want to be strafing in a straight line at the same speed. Bump up the unpredictability, if that's a word. So like left, right, left, back, jump, right, left, you know. Make yourself not easily predictable. And I'm sure you'll come out on top with this weapon. Next up we've got the Spitfire. Now the Spitfire has medium accuracy. It does strafe off a little bit. At close range though, like roughly this range, you're most likely going to hit all your shots if you counter the recoil. Now the recoil pattern of this is a bit of a wonky one. It's not very set in stone. I don't know if you can see that. It's like up, that way, that way, that way, up, and it just repeats. And honestly, during a game when I first picked the game up, Spitfire was my go-to weapon. Just because I had so much room for error, and I could miss like a bunch of shots but still have enough ammo in the base weapon to take out someone. It does do 18 on a normal hit and 36 on a headshot, and can take barrel stabilizers, heavy mags, sights obviously, and stabilizers. Now with these, this becomes even better. A fully modded Spitfire can definitely rival an R99 for me. It's slower in terms of DPS, but consistency is where this one shines. You can keep suppressing fire on enemies. Wow, my internet is shining today, isn't it? You can keep suppressing fire on enemies, keep them away from your teammates while they're healing, cover up a lifeline while she's rezzing someone, or even just help someone get their ult off, like Horizon. It's just all around a really, really friendly weapon. There's no reason not to use it. It has a low ammo efficiency, however, so to use it effectively, you're gonna need stacks of ammo. But one clip is definitely, a magazine alone is definitely enough for a fight, so it depends on how you're gonna be going about it. The overtime DPS of this weapon is not too bad. However, since you're going to be firing for such a long period of time, you are going to be exposed to returning fire. Now, if they have a Wingman or an R99 and hit you back with it, they will outdamage you. Because with this, once you're firing, you're moving extremely slowly if you're ADSing. And that is, like I said earlier with the Wingman's pinpoint accuracy, a double-edged sword. It's not very prominent during casual games, but obviously during competitive, it's gonna be a bit more noticeable. This is more of a close to mid-range weapon. The further ranges is going to be a little bit difficult to get your shots off. That'll give you a little bit of an advantage with something else like a sniper or 99 to take off the remaining amount of health that you've left on an enemy. This weapon is extremely beginner friendly, but does have a slightly long reload compared to others, like obviously the Wingman. But for what it is, it's extremely decent. If you're new to the game and deciding on a weapon to start sticking to, try the Spitfire. You won't go wrong. The Hemlock is a burst fire weapon, and it does come with an alternate firing mode. So you've got your first 3 bullet burst. It does 22 damage on body shot, and I think 44 on headshot. No, 39 on headshot. I think the multiplier has been dropped for this one in the recent update. It does have a bit of a recoil. While firing, it starts moving up and to the left slightly, but does recenter after a while. I haven't moved my mouse during all of that, just for reference. And switching to the alternate fire mode, you can go into single mode, which has rapid fire capabilities and does the same amount of damage, but has significantly less recoil. And to counter the recoil is simply just moving down slightly, because it climbs directly up. This weapon I genuinely use a lot during an actual match, because the hip fire accuracy on the burst fire is what makes this weapon shine. Because one of those 3 shots is going to hit, and 22 damage is no small amount. I mean, yeah, it's small to the 200 that you're going to be dealing, but that's already 10% of their health gone, with a suspected 30% chance of hitting any of your shots during a burst. And with the barrels and stabilizers, barrel stabilizers, the stocks and attachments and whatever, this brings it up to a very slight adjustment in recoil. It just starts resetting a little faster, and at least in my opinion. And the single fire mode is still very, very pinpoint accurate. With this weapon though, I do suggest using a 2.4 times, just because the 2 times would be useful for the burst fire, but at longer ranges the single fire can become like a mini sniper in your pocket. But because it's AR ammo, it's gonna be flying a lot faster, and therefore give you a little less of a drop off. All in all, this weapon, one of my favorites, probably the second best in this category according to like people in general, but out of all of these, this is genuinely my favorite. Every time I see a Hemlock, I instantly run with it. So try it out, see if you like it. Burst rifles, I know, are a bit of a love-hate relationship between people in the community, but I like it. I'm one of the lovers, not the haters. Next up, we've got the Flatline. Now, the Flatline, I think everyone's gonna say blasphemy just because I don't like it, but the Flatline is a really good weapon nonetheless. I don't know what it is about it. I think it's just the ADS sights that throw me off a little bit. Now, with the Flatline, you've got 19 damage, I think. Was it 19? Let's check. Yeah, 19 damage per body shot and 38 per headshot, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So, a pretty basic weapon. However, this one has a bit of a recoil. Oh, sorry, I was moving my mouse there. Let's just stand still. I should probably get ammo. It's probably a rather good idea. Alright. So it's got this weird, like, jiggly pattern. Like that. Now, to counteract this, I don't know if you'd be able to see it, is a lightning bolt. If you drag your mouse in this shape, so if you move your mouse to make this shape, you'll definitely be able to keep some of the, well, most of the bullets on your target. It is a bit of a difficult one to get used to, like I said, but with all weapons, practice makes perfect, right? And this one is no exception. But pretty basic AR. If you get a chance to use it early game, do it. You wouldn't go wrong. The Flatline has 2 modes, one being auto and the other one being single. The single one does have a bit more recoil than the Hemlock, and I wouldn't suggest using it over a Hemlock in terms of single fire, but the full auto with a barrel stabilizer and a mag will do a lot of damage. Now, with aiming tips for the Flatline, because I know most people do want to use it, as much as I'd hate to say, yeah, go for it, it's one of my favorite weapons, it's really not. I don't know why. It's really good, don't get me wrong, I'd still use it in a match, but So, with a full Flatline mag, why do I have so much random shit? Okay, we're talking basic Flatline at the beginning of a game that you first pick up. If you can get one of these and practice with them to get good, the moment you pick one up, you will dominate your early game. Now, with the magazine of the Flatline, the 20 mags, the 20 bullets that you get at the beginning, they do 380 damage per clip, and if you want to practice to get good with it, what I'd recommend is that target over there
Check out this area.
and that target over there. So if you had to aim at this target just to get your bullets to hit, I'd say stand like right here at the edge and try and hit that one. As it does 380 damage, you generally want to go for like 320 just to be on the safe side. But you don't have to start off with 320 right away. Just try and get 100 and then maybe 200, 300 and then 320, 30. And if you can hit a full 380 on that constantly, don't even worry about it, because the moment you pick up your attachments for this weapon, you are going to dominate. Yeah, that's about it for these weapons. There's not really many heavy weapons in the game. I'd like to see more someday. But for what we do have a very good selection. Pinpoint accuracy, covering fire, burst fire, and then full automatic. So I'm not too mad about these. We are, however, missing one of these weapons, and that was the Prowler SMG. As of Season 7, the Prowler SMG has been put into the care package and is now a red weapon instead of a normal heavy weapon. But we'll get into that during the red weapon video. But for now, thanks for supporting the channel, and especially thank you to the few of you that came yesterday and watched the light weapons video that I made. Link to that in the description and cards, like I said. And it's just, I'm kind of happy that you guys, well, the few that have watched it are still, or have at least enjoyed it, because I know some of my friends have watched my gameplay videos and stuff in the past, and I've always been appreciative of them just helping and supporting me. But having people I don't know support me, it's a whole different experience. And the little bit of positive feedback that I received was heartwarming, to say the least. And I guess if that keeps coming through, then I'll continue to produce high quality, well, the highest of quality that I can get to content. I just wanna, you know, be an entertainer, be the support people that go through things, because I know I definitely needed someone like that eventually. But this isn't a time for a life story. We'll do that some other time. But thanks for watching, and see you in the next one. Good luck.
That's how it goes when you're Hollywood person.